Hello. Another night, another stream, more Higurashi reading. I don't know. I'm not so tired I can't stream, but I'm definitely just feeling tired. So, honestly, doing just a reading is definitely going to help a little bit. Um, if I read and I seem like I'm zoning out while I'm reading, yeah, that's probably why. But we just listen to the sound cicadas. While I didn't grow up in an area of cicadas, I did grow up in countryside. So, just kind of the countryside sounds, crickets, you know, didn't really hear. I grew up farming area, so a lot of crickets. Maybe the a crackling of a campfire. And then, yeah, sometimes it's nice to have those things, but, other times it's nice to not, to live in a more lively area. So, but with all that said, let's just jump back. Well, okay, I meant to test this, but I got so just enthralled in listening to the sound of the cicadas that I actually just kept going. But let's hope this doesn't crash like it keeps wanting to. So, and here we go. Oops. There's the crash. I should have just tested that beforehand. And just done this fight beforehand. I'm pretty certain it's because I'm saving over save slots that I had without the mods, to be honest. Let me go to browse local files. I'm curious. Huh. Config file not present at blah 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 nipa.json using defaults. Their config file name is nipa. Okay, that's great. I'm not sure. It gave an access violation. Kernel base caused an access violation. Weird. And then there's a memory dump. So. Oh, come on. Just crashed again. There we go. Looks like there's a problem starting up. Please send developers your log file. Try waiting Thursday. Try wait can progress. Nothing happens. Try restart the game. Use the buttons under troubleshooting. On the bottom left to show your save files. Log files and compiled scripts. Logs indicate you have to corrupt save files and wish to delete them. You can try clearing your compiled script files and restart the game. Huh. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So part of it, I think, is I played through this once before, and I think part of what's going on is I'm hitting the same save slots that I'd been running before. There it goes. And so when I'm kind of overriding those save slots, and these didn't have the mods, and so it does. I think Steam syncing and me, even though I deleted them, it does some weird finicky. So, um, considering where we're at in the story, I very much am going to put up front again. This is a work of fiction. That do not remember to not take anything that happens in this overly seriously. I mean, serious enough to enjoy the story, but not so serious that like it messes with you. There's parts of this that are coming up that I do know what happens. Of course, I'm reading through this again after years of having read it 10 plus years ago. But there are parts coming up here that really the answer to some of it is, if you need it, seek some help, some proper mental health help. So, but with that said, we've just come off to the end of the Watanagashi Festival, having taken some cotton and drifted it down the stream, aka literally the translation of the Cotton Drifting Festival. So, while staring off into the stream, I somehow got separated from Rena. I wasn't very lonely, though. I know this place now. This is where I live. My home. It's probably better if I just stay here instead of wandering around aimlessly. Someone would surely find me while I was enjoying the evening breeze. I heard a familiar voice. It was Toмотake-san's. I headed toward it.
どうですか、富武さん。いい写真はいっぱい撮れましたか？
How'd it go, Toмотake-san? Were you able to get some good shots?
ああ、おかげさまでね。
Yeah, fortunately. Toмотake-san was with the girl. I felt a little like I was intruding.
ケイイチ君はどうだったかしら？お祭りは楽しめた？
Ooh, what voice do I use for her? Let's see. Rika's over here. Mion's kind of over here. Satoko is, up here. And then, shows you how tired I am. Rena's over here. Mion's over here. Rika's up here. Excuse me. Rena's over here. Rika's up here. Rika's up here. Rika's up. Wow, I can't hit that today. Well, so... How was it, Keiichi-kun? Did you enjoy the festival? There we go. Let's go with that. From the way she spoke, it seemed like she was a resident of Hinamizawa. I really should try harder to remember people's faces here. What was her name?
その、楽しかったです。
Well, it was fun. My face must have given away how desperately I was trying to remember her name, because she gave a light-hearted chuckle.
ケイチ君はまだ引っ越してきて日が浅いんだそうだね。
It's probably because it hasn't been long since you moved here.
他の子たちととても親しげだったから、とてもそうは思えなかったよ。
It's pretty hard to believe, seeing how friendly you've gone with the other kids. If that's how it looked, it was probably all thanks to Rena and Mion.
あなたも今日のお祭りに参加して、自分がひなみ沢の人間になれたんだって自覚できたんじゃないかしら？
Perhaps you feel more like a resident of Hinamizawa after taking part in the festival today.
どうなんでしょうね。
I wonder about that.
おや、ケイチ君らしくない返事だね。
Oh, that's not like you. I tried to get used to Hinamizawa, but there's still plenty of things I didn't know. The faces of people I met, for example. Things that happened in the past as well.
なんだ。その程度のことで君は疎遠に感じていたのかい？
Oh, you're feeling left out because of something like that?
疎遠なんて大げさなもんじゃないですよ。
It's not so much as feeling left out.
ただなんていうのか。
It's just, I'm not sure how to say it. That incident at the dam construction site, the fighting over it, and other conflicts. That terrible incident they pretended they didn't even know about whenever I brought it up. Even though it was in the past, as someone living in Hinamizawa, it wasn't wrong to want to know about both the good and bad that had happened here.
それを知ることで君が納得するなら、僕の知っている範囲で何でも教えるよ。
If it'll put you at ease, then I'll tell you everything I know. Tomotake-san's smile made me more relieved than I'd ever been. It was hard to think of what to ask when someone said, "Ask me anything," though. Even when there was so much I wanted to ask.
じゃあダム工事について聞かせてください。ひなみ沢が水没するとかいう大事件だったんですよね。
Then, could you tell me about the incident where the dam was being constructed? There was a big incident where Hinamizawa was going to be submerged, right?
ダムについては、多分ここの人に聞いた方が詳しいと思うけどな。ま、僕が知っている範囲でいいんなら、新聞で読んだ程度だけどね。
I think the locals would be more knowledgeable about the dam than I am. Well, if you don't mind, I'll tell you what I know. It's only what I read in the newspaper, though. Tomotake-san's eyes entered an unfocused gaze as he searched through his memory. Then he spoke.
ダムの計画が決まったのは7、8年くらい前なんだ。黒部に次ぐ巨大な計画だったと聞いてるね。
Whoops. Ah, shoot. I went too far. Forget that scrolls. Anyways, the decision to start the dam project was finalized 7 or 8 years ago. I heard it was the next largest project after the one in Kurobe. There were 3 major issues in Japan at the time: improving inter-island transportation infrastructure, meeting the higher demand for electricity, and flood control. There was a boom of dam building due to the massive economic stimulus they provided on top of generating electricity and flood control. Hinamizawa had the right conditions to support dam construction, so it was singled out.
ダムの完成に伴って生まれるダム湖はかなりの面積になったらしいね。このひなみ沢からずーっと上流の矢郷地あたりまでが全部沈むことになったらしい。
The dam reservoir would have covered quite a lot of ground when it was completed. The entire area, right up to Yaoguchi way upstream, would be underwater.
しかしなんだって人が住んでるひなみ沢にわざわざダムを作るんですか？
But why did they have to pick a populated area like Hinamizawa?
もっと他の人が住んでないところに作ればいいのに。
Couldn't they have instead picked a place where nobody lived?
よくは知らないんだが、ダムを作るのに適した地形ってのがあったって聞いてるね。
I'm not really sure why, but I heard that it was just the right terrain for building a dam. Of course, there were protests here in Hinamizawa. Rika-chan had said that they had fought. From the choice of words, I had to guess things had turned violent.
裁判にもなったし、議会でも取り上げられたんだ。
There was a trial, and it was even brought up before the national diet.
東京の新聞にも載ったよ。
It was covered in the Tokyo newspapers, too. Mion had told me all about that as well. I'm sure every resident of Hinamizawa had united to fight together. The feeling of solidarity found here, which could not be expressed properly with mere words, was likely brought about by that battle.
で、いろいろな不祥事や汚職が発覚してね、
As a result, bribery and scandals were brought to light.
ややこしいことになっているうちに工事中止が決まったんだそうだよ。
As things got more complicated, they eventually halted construction. If I wanted to know, now was my only chance to ask. It was certainly a bizarre incident that boys my age would be curious about. I felt a little shame from the fact I was petty enough to have my curiosity piqued by Rena and Mion's refusal to talk about the event. But I figured I might as well ask since I had the chance. Just so I would stop thinking about it so much.
バラバラ殺人ってありましたよね。
So there was a dismemberment, right?
あったよ。偶然その時期にひなみ沢にいてね。だからよく覚えてるよ。
There was. I happened to be here in Hinamizawa at the time, so I remember it well. Toмотake-san's answer was nonchalant in contrast to my hesitantly forced out question.
ちょうど4年前の今頃だったかな。あれも確か綿流しの日だったね。
It was about this time 4 years ago. It was the day of the Watanagashi, if I recall correctly. Debate on whether to continue construction on the dam was in disarray. Scandal after scandal rocked the project near the end. The incident that was the final nail in the coffin for the dam project. A fight at the dam construction site ended in the victim being murdered. Fearing prosecution, the 6 assailants divided the remains into 6 pieces and each hid one. 5 of the 6 criminals turned themselves in out of guilt, but one was still on the run. The right arm he'd hidden had yet to be found. The major details lined up with what was told in the tabloid I'd read earlier. It certainly was a tragic incident, but it wasn't so terrible that Rena and Mion needed to hide it from me. I guess they didn't want someone who just moved here to have a negative impression of Hinamizawa. I felt grateful for having friends who worried so much about me, as well as shame for still being so interested in it.
当時はダムのトラブルの末期だったからね。
It was near the end of all the trouble with the dam, you see.
お社様のたたりだって言ってずいぶん騒がれたんだよ。
So everyone was saying that it was Oyashiro-sama's curse.
お社様のたたりか。
Oyashiro-sama's curse, huh? Oyashiro-sama was the name of the god at the shrine that held the festival today, if I recall correctly. I see. Their guardian deity rained divine punishment down on evil dam construction for trying to flood Hinamizawa.
若い人たちはそうは思わなかったみたいだけれど、お年寄りたちはお社様のたたりだと疑わなかったみたいね。
Apparently, the younger ones didn't think so, but it seems the elderly in the village never doubted it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman with Toмотake-san chuckled mischievously. Toмотake-san began laughing with her. It was so infectious I ended up laughing as
で
well.
も今ではどうかしらね。結構いるんじゃないかしら。若い人にも。
But I wonder about now. There's quite a few, I think, amongst the youth too.
いるって何がですか？
A few what?
信じてる人だよ。お社様のたたり。
People who believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman's lips were still curled into a smile, but her expression turned stern.
その後ね、毎年起こるんだよ。決まって今頃にね。
Then after that, it continued every year, always around this time.
怒るって何が？
Continued? What continued? Toмотake-san paused for a second as if to build up some suspense. Then he whispered to me, as if someone might have been listening.
毎年綿流しの日になるとね、誰かが死ぬんだよ。
Every year, on the Watanagashi, someone dies.
バラバラ殺人の翌年の綿流しの日。
The year following dismemberment, on the day of the Watanagashi,
ひなみ沢の住人でありながら ダムの誘致派だった男が旅行先で崖下の濁流に転落して死亡した。
A man from Hinamizawa who had supported the dam fell off a cliff overlooking some rapids and died while he was on vacation.
奥さんに至っては死体も上がってない。
Speaking of his wife, unfortunately, her body was also never recovered.
南沢の人間でありながらダムに賛成していた男ですからね。
He supported the dam construction even though he lived in Hinamizawa.
事故当時、お年寄りたちはお社様のたたりだとささやき合ったものよ。
At the time, there were whispers amongst the elderly saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman chuckled mischievously again.
さらに翌年、綿流しの晩、今度は神社の神主が原因不明の奇病で急死した。奥さんはその晩のうちに沼に受水自殺した。
Then the next year, the night of the Watanagashi, the shrine's Shinto priest died suddenly from an unknown illness. His wife drowned herself in the bog that night.
神社の神主って今日のこの神社の神主ですか？
The shrine's Shinto priest? You mean he was from the shrine here? The woman nodded.
村人たちはお社様のお怒りを鎮めきれなかったんだって噂したわね。
There was a rumor amongst the villagers that they weren't able to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger.
さらに翌年、これもまた綿流しの晩。
Then the year after that, again, on the night of the Watanagashi,
今度は近所の主婦が撲殺体で発見された。
they discovered the battered body of a local housewife. Housewife? Up until now, all these mysterious deaths were people involved with the dam who had connections to Oyashiro-sama. With that in mind, could the housewife have been involved in some way too?
その通りよ。
Exactly. The woman stated slyly. No, it was more menacingly.
被害者の一家はね、その2年前に転落死したダム誘致派の男の弟一家に当たるのよ。
The victim's family, you see, happened to be that of the younger brother of the dam supporter who fell to his death 2 years before.
弟本人はまだ生きてるらしいね。でもやはりかなり気にしてね。近隣の町に引っ越してったらしいよ。
The younger brother is still alive, it seems, but it did bother him quite a bit. So he moved to the neighboring town. For a while, I stood there with my mouth agape. The battle over the dam construction with Hinamizawa's future at stake, and the murder at the center of it all. That was all I knew, and that was all I wanted to ask about. But that wasn't all there was to the story. Homicide, body disposal, accidental deaths. Terminal illness, suicide, fatal beatings. I'm a pretty level-headed person. I don't really want to believe in curses. But the freakish deaths happened every year on the day of the Watanagashi, and all of them were related to dam construction? Wording like that to avoid YouTube bad words. Yeah. I don't care, honestly. It was easy to dismiss each of them as coincidences by themselves. But when you pull them all together, dismissing all of them as coincidence would then defy logic. I don't believe in curses, but every single year, on the day of the Watanagashi, somebody or something makes it happen, without fail. The woman chuckled again, as if she picked up on what I was thinking. It felt like she was saying, maybe there was, maybe we frightened him, stuff like that. I felt embarrassed at being read so easily. I pressed Tomotake-san to continue, a bit of impatience and irritation in my tone.
で、その翌年の綿流しの晩にも今度は誰です？
Then, so someone died the next year, right? Who was it that time?
さてね。圭一君は誰だと思うかな？
I wonder, who do you think, Keiichi-kun?
あ？
Huh? The way he said it didn't agree with me. The sarcastic tone ticked me off.
はぐらかさないでくださいよ。俺は結構真剣に。
Don't avoid the question. I'm serious here.
まあまあ圭一君落ち着いて。
Hey, hey, calm down, Keiichi-kun. I realized when she tried to calm me down I had been panicking.
別にはぐらかしたつもりはないんだよ、ケイイチ君。つまり、その翌年の綿流しってのは、つまり。
We aren't trying to avoid the question, Keiichi-kun. It's just, when you say the next year, that's
今日よ。
that's today. When Toмотake-san hesitated to say it, she finished for him. I broke into a cold sweat. I really didn't like the direction this was headed.
みんな口にしないけど、今夜また何か起こるんじゃないかって思ってる。
Nobody wants to speak of it, but they all think it's going to happen again tonight.
こんなにお祭りで賑わってるのに。
The festival's so cheerful, though.
あのね、去年の被害者の主婦は不審人者だったらしくてね、綿流しのお祭りに参加しなかったらしいの。
Well, the victim last year, the housewife, she was a non-believer. It turns out she didn't even attend the Watanagashi festival.
今年の綿流しに参加しないと、お社様の怒りに触れるかもしれないって噂。
There was a rumor going around that if you didn't participate in the festival, you would incur Oyashiro-sama's wrath.
ケイイチ君なら聞いてるんじゃないかい？
Didn't you hear anything about this, Keiichi-kun? I never even heard a whisper of that rumor.
じゃあみんなのお祭りの参加はたたりを恐れて。
Then the reason everyone was at the festival was they were afraid of the curse?
そうなんじゃないかと思うね。今年の綿流しは例年になく参加者が多いよ。
I figured that must have been the reason. There were a lot more people at the Watanagashi than usual.
やっぱりみんな怖いんでしょうね。
I guess everyone was just afraid after all
お社様のたたり。
of Oyashiro-sama's curse. I couldn't utter a single word. In this modern age, where we've made progress in all scientific fields, shedding light on the unknown and misunderstood, where black and white television has been eradicated and we've sent men to the moon, even with all of our accomplishments, this can exist in modern society?
桜ってことで近隣の町の子供会をかなり招待したらしいけど、
Tons of invitations were sent out to neighboring towns' youth groups to help pad the numbers.
やっぱり一連の事件を受けてあんまり参加はなかったみたいね。
But after that string of events, few decided to join.
人集めに苦労してるって町会の人がぼやいてたもの。
The municipal committee members were complaining about how hard it was to gather participants.
警察もね、過去の事件は全て別個のもので関連性はないとしてるみたいだけど
Looks like
ね。
we are on an ad break, so I will wait just a moment. Hi, Coco. Is it a Coco break time? Here. Come on. That's not here. There you go. Ow. Yes, Coco. Why am I getting a FNAF movie ad? Oh, excuse me. Oh, man. Also, the police are treating each case as isolated. They don't believe they're connected.
警備ってことで私服警官をだいぶ立たせてたみたいだよ。
But apparently they sent quite a few plainclothes officers for security. It finally began to dawn on me why Rena and Mion were reluctant to talk. If nothing happened during this Watanagashi, everything would have been over with and I'd be none the wiser. If nothing happened, all would be well. In that case, it would all end up being just crazy talk. I should have just pretended like I knew nothing from the beginning. Then they wouldn't have had to act like nothing happened. And we would have all gotten back to life as usual.
やっぱり刺激が強すぎたかしら。
Maybe it was too much for him after all. The woman ran her fingers through her hair and she sighed.
いえ、そんな全然。
No, it wasn't. Not at all. I had tried to act strong, but that just served to emphasize how much the information had unsettled me. After seeing how I looked, Toмотake-san appeared to regret saying anything. Letting out a sigh, he then spoke, forcing an awkward, upbeat demeanor.
まさか圭一君、たたりなんて信じてるわけじゃないだろう。
Keiichi-kun, surely you don't believe in such things as curses. Oh shoot! Hey dude! Thanks for the raid. Hey Cool Jake. How you doing? You're crying, but okay. Ha ha ha. Dude, what'd you do to him? Dude didn't do shit. Well, slightly, but not stream related. Okay. Carry on. Okay, will do, Cool Jake. Anyway. This is just a straight reading. If you don't know, Higurashi is a sound novel, so hope you guys have a good stream, bells. Thanks, dude. Thanks for the raid. So this is purely just me reading the story. So yeah. Keiichi-kun, surely you don't believe in such things as curses.
そりゃまあ。
Well, no.
すべての事件が原因不明で犯人も手口も謎っていうなら僕もたたりを疑ってもいいよ。
So yeah, Cool Jake. If you've never heard of Higurashi before, first off, wow. Secondly, this is a visual novel. So pure text, no gameplay. In fact, this story in particular doesn't even have choices. It is straight just a story. The game of the story is it's like any like murder mystery story you read, where you're trying to figure out what's going on before the big reveal. Yep, JPEGs and dialogue. Yep, that's about it. So, if the causes of all the crimes were unknown, with the perpetrators and their methods all mysteries, then I'd concede the possibility of a curse.
だけど実際には違う。
But that's not how things are in reality.
どの事件もちゃんと警察が捜査して真相や犯人を究明してる。
Police investigations already uncovered the truth and perpetrators for all of the cases. Hear him say police made me feel a lot better. It was perfect for repelling the word curse.
例えば一番最初のバラバラ殺人。
Yeah, this does cover some heavy topics, by the way, so just be aware of that. The first one, the dismemberment, for example.
言ったよね。
I told you, didn't I?
犯人は一人を残して全員逮捕されてる。
All but one of the perpetrators were arrested.
残った一人だって時間の問題さ。
It's only a matter of time for the last one.
動機だって酒の上での口論からと判明してる。
The motive turned out to be an argument they had while intoxicated.
たたりなんかじゃない。
That's no curse.
だろ？
Don't you agree? That was true, If it didn't happen on the day of the Watanagashi, then I wouldn't think it was related to the curse at all.
次の誘致派の夫婦の事故死だってそうさ。
The accidental deaths of the couple who supported the dam is the same.
恨みを買う立場だったからね。警察が特に入念に捜査したと思うよ。それで発表は事故。
He was in a position that made others hate him. The police made a point of investigating from that angle. They concluded it was an accident,
他殺じゃない。
not foul play.
でもまた綿流しの日に起きたんですよね。
But they both happened on the day of the festival, right?
考えてもみなよ、ケイチ君。ひなみ沢に敵が多かった彼が地元のお祭りにおちおち参加できると思うかい？
Think about it this way, Keiji-kun. Do you think people with a lot of enemies here in Hinamizawa could easily participate in the local festival? Okay. I got some pings in spots.
彼にとっては綿流しの時期は特にひなみ沢に居づらい時期に違いないよ。
It would be especially hard for them to be around during the Watanagashi.
だからわざわざこの時期に旅行をし、意図的にひなみ沢を離れようとしたんじゃないかな。
So they probably left Hinamizawa intentionally around this time of year to travel, don't you think? It wasn't a very clear explanation, but I sort of understood what Toмотaki-san was getting at. So I pressed on earnestly, asking more questions that I could convince myself.
じゃあ富武さん、その次に死んだ神主さんはどうです？原因不明の奇病だって。それもまたしても綿流しの日に。
Then, Toмотaki-san, what about the priest who died after that? The one of the unknown illness? That also happened on the day of the festival.
神主さんはもっと説明がつきやすいよ。綿流しのお祭りは神主さんにとっては年に一度の大行事。過労に体調不良が重なったんだろうね。
Well, that's even easier to explain what happened to the Shinto priest. The Watanagashi is a really big event that happens once a year. It was probably from all the built-up stress.
あるいはもともと持病持ちだったのかもしれない。
Or it may have been because of a pre-existing condition.
でも奇病ですよ。この医学の進歩した時代に原因不明なんて。
But it was an unknown illness. It's hard to believe such a thing could exist with all our advances in medicine.
尾ひれだよ。噂が噂を呼んだだけさ。
It's just an exaggeration. Rumors making rumors.
2年立て続けに事件が起これば誰だって過敏になるよ。急死は確かに不自然だったかもしれないけど、
Anyone would get worked up over having incidents happen 2 years in a row. The sudden death is quite unnatural, though.
こういう死に方をすると必ず警察が検視をする。で、事件性は発見されなかったんだろう。本当に偶然の病死なんだよ。
Of course, the police ordered an autopsy because of the strange way he died. But there wasn't enough for them to open a full investigation, you know. Turns out it was just a sudden death due to illness.
確か神主の奥さんが自殺してますよね。じゃあこれは？
The priest's wife committed suicide, correct? What about that?
すでに説明した通りさ。3年目の事件に村人たちは動揺していた。信心深い人たちはすぐにたたりだと決めてかかったのさ。
I believe I already explained that. Everyone was shaken up by the incidents happening for a third year. Those who were of strong faith were quick to believe it was the work of the curse.
もちろん神主の奥さんもね。自殺の際に死んでお社様の怒りをお鎮めするみたいな遺書が見つかったらしいし。
Of course, that includes the priest's wife. Apparently, they found a suicide note that said something like, "My death will quell Oyashiro-sama's anger."
じゃあ次の主婦の事件はまたしても綿流しの日に。
Well then, how about the next incident with the housewife? That happened on the day of the Watanagashi too.
この事件は犯人も逮捕されて解決してるよ。一種の異常者でひなみ沢のたたり騒ぎを面白がって再現したと自供してる。
The perpetrator's already been caught and the case has been closed. Turned out it was some nut job trying to continue the legacy of the Hinamizawa curse.
じゃあ次の年の事件は？
Then how about the incident the next year? Oh yeah. This year is the next year. Toмотake-san gave a hearty laugh.
もう何も起こらないよ。今度こそね。お社様のたたりなんてもともとない。一連の偶然をあると信じている人たちがそうだと吹聴しているだけさ。
Nothing will happen. Not this year. There was never a curse to begin with. It's just that a group of people believed it was the explanation for a string of coincidences. My internal computer finally got itself back on track. I felt a bit embarrassed by how childish I'd become after losing control and panicking.
僕は圭一君がひなみ沢をとても好きだと思ってることをよく知ってるよ。仮にお社様のたたりが実在したとしても、そんな圭一君にたたりがあるなんてとても思えないね。
I can see very clearly now that Keiichi-kun really does love Hinamizawa. Even if Oyashiro-sama's curse actually did exist, I can't imagine that Keiichi-kun would become a target. I felt very relieved. I should probably just forget everything I heard tonight. I'll greet Rena and Mion tomorrow with the same smile as always. They'd probably also like tonight to end without incident, so they can continue on tomorrow without having worried me. Perhaps seeing my change in attitude, the woman who had been listening in stretched as she got up from the rock she was sitting on.
さてと、
Well then,
そろそろ私は戻らないとね。
I should be getting back.
おっと、僕も少々長くおしゃべりしすぎたかな。
Oh goodness, I think I may have gone on a bit too long. There are so few people compared to the crowd from before, I can only make out a few groups of families enjoying the cool air. I look at my watch. It seemed we'd talked for a better part of an hour.
圭一君もお友達と一緒に来たんでしょ。みんなを探したら。
Didn't you come along with your friends, Keiichi-kun? Not going to look for them?
そうだった。みんな俺のことを探してるかもしれない。
Oh yeah, they might all be looking for me.
女の子に探させるなんてなかなかの罪人だね。
You're quite the scoundrel making the girls look for you.
じゃあね、おやすみなさい、圭一君。次郎さんもね。また後ほど。
See you, Keiichi-kun. Have a good night. You too, Jiro-san. I'll see you a bit later. Toмотake-san seemed to be quite the scoundrel himself, so his name is Jiro. After dusting off her backside, she disappeared into the crowd of people still busy cleaning up the shrine grounds. Keiichi-kun, gomenasai! Ooh, that was bad. In her place, Rena came running over. I could see all the others behind her. Speak of the devil.
悪い悪いケイちゃん、すっかり話し込んじゃっててさ。
My bad, Kei-chan. We got so caught up in our discussion. I'd completely forgotten about them while caught up in my own conversation, so we were even.
あら、富武さんもご一緒でございましたの。ちょうどよかったですわ。
My, so Toмотake-san was with you. This works out perfectly.
今日の射的の結果発表がありますです。
We still need to settle the shooting gallery competition.
ああ、そうだったね。結局ビリは僕なのかな。
Ah, that's right. So I guess I'm going to end up dead last? Yep. In the end, after my dramatic victory, Rika-chan was the last challenger, but there weren't many targets left. The ones remaining were all tiny and difficult to hit. She did take her time and aim, but all 3 shots completely missed. She was to end up sharing the loser's crown with Toмотake-san. However, she did a little meeping cry in front of the owner, and he turned to mush instantly. She was given a pack of gum as a consolation prize. Her methods were a bit audacious, but she did avoid being the loser rather magnificently.
思うにリカちゃんって結構タヌキだろ。
Come to think of it, Rika-chan is quite the trickster.
圭一の言ってる意味がわかりませんです。
I have no idea what Keiichi is talking about.
なわけで、ビリは富武さんに決まり。
Now then, it's decided that Toмотake-san is dead last! Everyone cheered and applauded. Toмотake-san smiled wryly, slightly bewildered.
じゃあ富武さん、覚悟はいいかな？罰ゲーム。
So, Toмотake-san, are you ready? Penalty time!
え？あ、忘れてた。
Huh? Oh, I completely forgot about that. You're too naive, Toмотake-san. This is why you've got to avoid losing in our club. Mion pulled a felt tip marker from her pocket. Oh, it's that.
ミオン、武士の情けだ。せめて水星にしてやれ。優勢は辛い。
Mion, show him some mercy. At least use a washable marker. A permanent one is too harsh.
洗濯したら落ちちゃうじゃない。
It just has to be permanent. Water-based marker would come off in the wash.
なんだい
Whoa, what is this?
お手柔らかに頼むよ。
Please take it easy on me. All of us pinned his arms behind his back, and Mion approached him with the marker in one
キュ
hand.
ッキュッキュッだ。
And squip, squip, squip. But she didn't write on Tomotage-san's face. She wrote on the shirt he was wearing. Oh, that's just mean. You'd better have your big break this year, Mion. Rena took up the marker next. Show me your photos next time, okay? Rena. It was a little heartwarming, and I just had to laugh.
これじゃあ罰ゲームってより寄せ書きじゃないか。
This is more like a farewell card than a penalty.
私は甘くはありませんのよ。ちゃんと罰ゲームできますわ。
Oh, I got pinged. Hold on. Oh, I'm not as soft as the rest. I'll make sure this is a proper penalty. Haha, dead last. Satoko. Try harder next time. Rika.
ケイチさんもどうぞでございます。
Here you go, Keiichi-san. I couldn't decide what to write, but based on what kind of penalty this was probably the most appropriate. Come back and play again, Keiichi. Tomotage-san was silent the entire time. At first he was quite bewildered, but now he had a different look on his face.
これを着たまま帰郷するのも罰ゲームのうちに入るのかな。
So I have to wear this all the way back to Tokyo as part of the penalty?
もちろん。ちゃんと着たまま家に帰ってね。
Of course! You better wear it all the way home.
次に来る時にも着てきてくれるといいな。いいな。
You can wear it when you come. You can wear it when you come back. It'd be nice. He appeared deeply moved. Embarrassment mixed with a wealth of other emotions made him turn a bright red.
わかった。次に来る時もこれを着てくるよ。約束する。
Understood. I'll wear this the next time I come here. I promise. Everyone cheered and applauded. It was the finest parting gift possible for a buddy heading out tonight. I saw the woman who was with Tomotage-san standing near the festival grounds. It seemed Tomotage-san noticed her too and knew it was time to leave.
お連れ様がお待ちみたいじゃん。そろそろお時間かな。
Seems like your guest is waiting. Isn't it about time?
そうみたいだね。
Yeah, that's certainly how it seems. Tomotage-san headed off towards her and seemed to apologize for making her wait. We all shouted stuff at Tomotage-san. Each time we did, he looked back and waved his hand. Eventually, he faded into the darkness of the night, out of sight. It was quite the casual farewell. This wasn't the first time any of us had seen someone off, excuse me. They had done the same thing many times before.
行っちゃったね。
He's gone. Yes, hi, Coco.
うちらも引き上げるかね。
Well, it's about time we take off too. Rika-chan had to stay behind with the other committee members since they were having a meeting. Satoko was tagging along with her. I headed back home with the usual suspects. The walk back was quite lively, with talks of the day's war stories. Coco. Yeah, watch out, doggo. Should have done this, should have done that kind of stuff. Sure, everything's still going through fine. Okay, looks like it is. Rena and I parted ways with Mion, and then it was just the two of us. Then we got to my house, and I parted ways with Rena as well.
こんな時間だけど一人で大丈夫か？
It's already pretty late. Are you alright by yourself?
全然平気だよ。近いし、走っていくし。
I'm perfectly fine. It's close. I'm gonna run too.
変な奴がいたら大声出せよ。
If you run to some weirdo, just yell.
出したら、助けに来てくれるのかな。かな。
If I do shout, will you come and save me, maybe? Maybe?
聞こえたらな。
If I hear you. okay.
聞こえるくらい大きな声を出すね。
I'll scream loud enough so you can hear me. Merrily spinning her arms around at high speed, Rena dashed off. She was fine. In that mode, not even an adult could stand against her. Rena's cheerful presence disappeared, and it finally became quiet again. The curse that not a soul mentioned, even under their breath. The more I learned about it tonight, the more unsettling it became. It didn't show on any of their faces, but they were probably all quite concerned about it as well. But if nothing happens tonight, then it all ends up being just crazy talk. Nothing will happen. Nothing bad,
どうし
nothing
た
at
の
all.
ケイチ、そんなところで。
What's wrong, Keiichi? Why are you standing in a place like this?
中に入りなさい。風邪をひくわよ。
Come inside. You'll catch a cold. Cold. It was my mom.
母さんは行った？
Did you go, Mom?
綿流しのお祭り。
To the Watanagashi Festival?
結局、お父さんが起きなかったからね。行きそびれちゃったわ。残念。
In the end, your father didn't wake up, so I missed it. A little disappointing. Mom stuck her tongue out with a bit of embarrassed look on her face. End of chapter? End of chapter. Alright, let's see these new tips. From the June 1980 edition. On the afternoon of X at 2 p.m., office employee X and his wife X of Hinamizawa Village in Shishibone Prefecture disappeared after falling 27 meters from the observatory platform in Shirakawa Prefecture. Police and firefighters searched downstream and discovered the body of X at around 7 p.m. that evening. His wife has yet to be found. The search has run into difficulties due to the effects of Typhoon 3 from the previous day. It appeared a railing at the observatory that the X's leaned on had broken, causing them to fall. The groundskeeping staff was questioned by the police in regards to facility deterioration and if park maintenance was performed properly. See, that was the Hojo couples falling. Oh. From the June 1981 edition. On the afternoon of X, around 10 p.m., in the X district of Hinamizawa Village in Shishibone Prefecture, the Shinto priest of the Furude Shrine passed away after an existing condition he was recovering from suddenly worsened. Parties close to the deceased said he was suffering from anxiety issues concerning the festival, which was to be held that day. Also, after X's death, his wife went missing, leaving behind a farewell note. The police and youth local association continued to search. However, given the presence of the farewell message and the fact that Onigafuchi swamp is said to be bottomless, they have run into difficulties. It wasn't reported in the newspaper. The housewife's murder was not reported in the newspaper. Radio log. I don't think any effects would do it. So, this is Okinomiya Station, calling Unit 3. Unit 3, please respond.
3号です。感度良好。
This is Unit 3, loud and clear. Oh god, how am I going to voice Oishi? Backup is sent your way. Hold position till further instructions. Over.
はい、3号了解。
Roger, Unit 3. Ignore, because I was let's see. Keiichi here. Tomotaku is right here. Hi. Oh, man. How am I gonna voice Oishi? Trying to think about that. Roger. Unit 3 acknowledged. Oh, jeez. Terrible voice, but probably like that. Requesting no headlights. Requesting radio silence.
今先生が到着しました。運びたいそうですがどうしますか？どうぞ。
Station, the doctor has arrived. They want to carry it away. What's the order? Over. Acknowledged. Leave it to the doctor.
はい了解です。ああ、応援も到着しました。先に写真撮らせた方がいいんじゃないですか？外車もう無駄だと思いますし。
Affirmative. Understood. Backup has arrived. Shouldn't we let them take a photo first? I think the Vic is done for. We'll throw up a end of chapter save, and we shall continue. Good morning.
ケイちゃん、昨日はお疲れ様。
Nice job yesterday, Kei-chan.
ミオンこそお疲れさんな。昨日は楽しかったぜ。
You didn't do too bad yourself, Mion. Yesterday was fun.
そうそう。ケイチくん、本当にありがとね。
Oh, that's right. Keiichi-kun, thank you very much.
クマさん。
For Mr. Bear.
気に入ってもらえて嬉しいぜ。裁縫針とか刺したりするのに使うなよ。
I'm glad you like it. Don't use it as a pincushion, though.
しないよ、そんなこと。
I wouldn't. Still chatting happily, we entered the classroom, but the moment I stepped in the classroom, a splashing sound and a nasty sensation. It was a bucket filled to the brim with water, and unfortunately, my foot stepped right into it.
あら、朝から雑巾がけとは熱心でございますわね。
My now, how diligent of you to mop the floor this morning. Chomp, clomp, clomp, clomp.
うわー、ケイチさんがデコピンした。
Keiichi-san flicked my forehead.
今度はもっと凶悪な罠を仕掛けなさいですよ。
You should set a more brutal trap next time. And we're on Twitch ads. I will pause for a sec. Or a minute and a half. I'll use this moment, to do a quick refresh of my water, so I'll be right back. Okay, we should be back. Oh, well, yeah, I didn't think about the delay on the stream. Okay. But anyway. Rika, you should set a more brutal trap next time. saying that, Rena began to swoon as Mion looked on in disbelief. Everything was the same as always. Everybody was there, and nothing felt out of place. The uncertainties I had in the back of my mind since yesterday had vanished.
どうしたのケイチ君
What is it, Keiichi-kun?
ひょっとして寝不足かな
Didn't get enough sleep, maybe? Maybe?
バッチリ爆睡したよ。なんなら授業中にも実演するぜ。
I slept like a log, but if you want, I'll do a reenactment during class.
ダメだよそんなの
You shouldn't do that. Mion alerted us that the teacher was coming, so everyone shuffled off to their seats.
皆さんおはようございます。
I was wondering if they were going to show her or not. New character on screen. I'm going to flip looks. That's the remake. That's the original. I'm sorry. Most people would say most of the original art is the worst. I'm sorry. The remake art is just not good for GA. Like, that's... Like, it's decent art, but oh man, that does not look anything like either of those. Oof. That's all I can say to that. Anyway. Good morning, everyone.
昨日はお祭りでしたね。
So yesterday was the festival.
最後まで後片付けに参加した人たちは本当にお疲れ様でした。
Thank you to all people who stayed until the very end to help clean up. We were all slackers, so none of us actually helped clean up. Actually, I had a feeling that the only thing we did was run around the festival and cause a ruckus.
さて、この時期にはお祭りの取材で遠くから雑誌なんかの取材の方が見えたりします。
Okay then, this time of year, you might see some people here from out of town doing interviews about the festival for magazines. I thought it was the usual stuff, so I was going to tune out, but then I noticed a different tone in her voice and started paying attention.
皆さんが取材を受けることがあるかもしれませんが、曖昧なことやいい加減なことは言わないように。
You may be asked questions. Please don't say anything silly or something that could be taken the wrong way.
いいですね。
Do you understand? In unison, everyone replied, Hi. Yes, ma'am. What she said was really vague, but I understood what she was trying to say. After all, this was the 5th year. I'm curious now. Fumiko Orikasa. What are some of your major roles? Chun-Li, Rukia, Riza Hawkeye. She reprised a role in Sotsu and Go, okay, as Chie. I was wondering why this voice sounded familiar. Lady in DMC 5. Shirley in Code Geass. Cure Rhythm, really? Wow, she's been Chun-Li for a while. Maiko Ohashi in Persona? Like, holy crap. Sally Brown. Any others that are major ones? The fact that she's been it since Chun-Li since at least Street Fighter 4 is kind of crazy. Riza Hawkeye again. Yeah, Shirley, Lady, Rukia, Miroku from Naruto. Okay. Multiple characters in Suikoden 5 specifically. Sarah's Victoria from Hellsing Ultimate. Okay, yeah, no, she was a pretty prolific. Mars Daybreak, wow. That's a name I haven't heard of in a while. No way. I didn't see it earlier. And she's Rika from Digimon Tamers? Dang. A couple of different characters in Inuyasha. Miss Valentine and Wanda in One Piece. Wow. Okay. That's a pretty impressive character lineup for Chie's voice actress. Anyway, after all, this was the 5th year. There was probably lots of third-rate reporters pouring in, hoping something regarding the curse had happened. It did nothing but perpetuate the village's bad image. She was saying, "Don't spout stupid shit you think is funny." And now I was one of the ones who needed to keep their mouths shut. I found it rather cute how I felt a sense of unity from such a trite thing, if I do say so myself. I was summoned to club activities after school. Since everybody was still pretty tired from yesterday, we just spent the day relaxing. Yeah, that wasn't happening. Today, let's play a classic game with deduction. How about this one? Oh, a game from overseas. Looks interesting. The instructions are in English, but the rules don't seem that hard. I won't lose, you hear? I'm not too bad at this game. Seemed that Rena didn't handle this kind of game very well. Oh. They're playing Clue. Oh, Clue is such a weird game. The rules are, the person who can match the murderer, weapon, and scene of the crime wins. There were 3 kinds of cards comprised of suspects, weapons, and locations. I could see the names Mion and Rika were written on the suspect cards. Oh, a card with my name as well. There are plenty of different weapons too. Like knives, axe, and poison. The location is pretty nice too. Like the living room, the study, and the courtyard. Principle in the first one, questioning people reading them in the question mark. Whoops.
これらのカードが1枚ずつ抜かれるの。それが正解のカード。
So basically, you take out one of each of the cards. These are the answer cards.
で、残ったカードはシャッフルしてみんなで当分。互いに手持ちのカードを質問し合って、抜かれた正解のカードが何かを探るわけ。
So we shuffle the remaining cards and hand them out. We ask each other about the cards and figure out the right ones. Ah, I see. So the cards nobody has are the true perpetrators.
それで、答えが分かったら挙手。ゲームを終了して、答えが正しいかを確認。
Then you raise your hand and if you know the answer. The game ends and we check if the answer is correct.
正解なら勝ちで1ポイント。外れていればマイナス1ポイント。正解してもしなくてもゲーム終了だから、カードは集めて仕切り直しってわけ。
If you think you're right, then you get a point. If you're wrong, then you lose a point. Since the game ends even if no one gets it right, all the cards are gathered up and redistributed.
やってみればわかるでございますわ。結構頭を使うでございますわよ。
You'll learn as you go. You really have to use your brain.
メモを取りながらじゃないと混乱しますです。
You'll get confused if you don't take notes.
あとはやって覚えるさ。で、ミオン。今回の罰ゲームは何だ？
The rest you can figure out by playing. So, Mion, what's the penalty this time? Everyone directed their attention to Mion.
そうだね。じゃあ、昨日の疲れも多少あるだろうから、今日はソフトに。使いっ走りの刑はどう？みんなからお使いを頼まれて、それを買いに走るってわけ。
Let's see. We're all still a little tired from yesterday, so maybe we'll take it easy with a gopher penalty. You'll be asked to rush out and buy stuff for everyone.
つまり、ジュースとかお菓子とかを買いに行かされるんだね。
So just being asked to go buy stuff like drinks and candy, I guess.
今日の罰ゲームは簡単そうな気がしますです。
I feel like the penalty day is pretty simple. I wonder, is it really?
やはり、ケイチさんもそう思いますですの？
Is Keiichi thinking what I'm thinking?
ああ、何を買いに行かされるかわからないからな。
Yeah. You don't know what you'll have to go buy. I'm betting Mion would send out whoever loses to buy stuff like hemorrhoid cream or happy family planning manual or other crazy stuff. The cards were lightly shuffled and passed out to each player. The real perpetrator, the correct weapon, and the scene of the murder have been taken out. So that means all the cards I have in my hand are innocent cards.
じゃあ、1番は部長の私から行くよ。ミオン、ナイフ、書斎。
Well, then I'll go first since I'm club president, I guess. Well then, Mion, knife, study. You pick one suspect, weapon, immerse scene, and ask the other players. If you have any of those cards, then you must say, I have one. However, you don't need to say which one you have.
あ、俺持ってるぜ。
Yeah, I got it.
レナもあるよ。
Me too.
僕も持ってますです。
I have one.
完全な投資ですわね。
Oh my, all of them are here. 3 people answered when she asked if they had Mion, knife, and study. So that means that Mion, knife, and study are all in the clear. Got to jot that down.
じゃあレナはね、レナ、オノ、ラウンジだよ。
Then I'll go. Rena, X, lounge. Only 2 people said they had one? So it means out of Rena, Axe, and Lounge, one of them is correct and is a part of the crime. No, wait. Even if they say they had one, then they don't have to say how many. It's possible that either Satoko or Rika has 2 of the cards.
じゃあ次はケイちゃんだね。どうぞ。
Well, Kei-chan is next. Go ahead.
待ってくれよ。
Wait just a
ま
little.
だ整理中。
I'm still sorting things out. The game has me thinking more than I thought. Oh man, this feels like it's going to be tough.
よっしゃ、犯人確定。
Alright, now I have the criminal.
何？
Huh?
もう？
Already? Here I am spinning around circles, and Mion just now raises her hand.
犯人はリカちゃん。凶器は毒物で、犯行現場は医務室。
The murderer is Rika-chan in the infirmary with the poison. Well? Mion drew the cards from the box and we checked to see if her deduction was right. I was right.
あと一手だったですのに。
All I needed was one more hand.
毒物かピストルかわからなかったでございます。
I couldn't tell whether it was poison or a pistol.
ピストルなんか使わないです。毒物でじわりじわりがいいのです。
I'd never use a pistol. I like killing them slowly with poison. Rika-chan said such a hugely terrifying thing with such a sweet little face. Everyone was making a commotion about how they almost had it. Rena and I were left out in the cold, though.
ケイチ君はどうだったかな。
How did you do, Keiichi-kun?
レナは全然。
I couldn't get it at all.
安心しろ。俺もさっぱりだ。
Don't worry. I had no idea either.
二人とも何自信ないこと言ってんだか。二人仲良くビリになっちゃうよ。
How can you both be so unsure? You'll both end up in last place together at this rate. That's even worse! Going off buying something together as a couple. What if we end up having to buy the Happy Family Planning Manual?
ケイチはこのゲーム苦手そうな顔してますです。
I can tell from Keiichi's expression he's not very good at this game.
な、全然そんなことはないぞ。
That's not true.
次でシャーロック前原の実力を見せてやる。
I'll show you the true power of Sherlock Maebara during the next round.
あら、それはいいですわね。徹底的に叩きのめして差し上げますわ。
My, that just sounds wonderful. I shall give you quite the thrashing. After that, I managed to somewhat grasp the trick behind the game, but I was still always a step or two behind. I saw that Mion was somehow gleaning information from how the others were asking their questions. That level of experience was just too much. The only way I could stage a comeback was if I became ruthless. I tossed out the simple concept of deduction and switched over to the thought process needed to win. The important thing isn't to finding out the criminal, it's to win at the game. Eureka!
あ、ごめん。ちょっとトイレ行ってくるな。
Sorry, I need to go to the bathroom.
ゆっくりブリブリしておいで。
Take your time and squeeze out a nice one.
みーちゃん、それ下品。
Mii-chan, that's gross. I had them hold off the game and headed down the hall. The air was crisp. It showed just how stagnant the air in the classroom was from our body heat. On the school grounds, some of our classmates were still playing around. After spending some time cooling my head, Rena had made her way over toward me.
ケイチ君、ひょっとしてレナのこと呼んだ？
Keiichi-kun, did you call for me?
ああ、読んだ。
Yeah, I did. As I got up from my seat, I winked over at Rena. I'm glad it worked out.
時間の無駄なので担当直入に行く。レナ、お前の今日のゲームの過去の戦績は？
I don't want to waste much time, so I'll get right to the point. Rena, what's your record at this game we're playing? She was taken aback. After a moment, she hesitantly opened her mouth.
全敗だよ。
Well, all losses.
どうしてそんなこと聞くんだろう。
Why do you ask, I wonder? I could tell from how apprehensively she was playing.
このままでいくと、俺もそうなる。今日のゲームは大逆転の秘策が思いつかない。
The way things are going, I will as well. I can't figure out a way to pull off a last-minute comeback on this one.
じゃあ、今日の罰ゲームはケイチ君と一緒なのかな？
So I guess both of us will be taking that penalty?
おいおい、早くも負けを受け入れるなよ。
Hoi, don't accept defeat already.
勝ちに行こうぜ。
How about we win this?
俺たちで。
Both of us.
でも、どうやって？
But how can we? I brought my lips up to Rena's ears.
そんなのありなのかな？
Huh? Is that allowed?
忘れたのか、レナ。快速第2条だぞ。勝つために全ての努力をしよう。
Did you forget, Rena? The second rule of our society. Do everything in your power to obtain victory.
頑張る
Yeah, I'll do my best. Our plan of attack was quite a rudimentary one. At the beginning of the game, everyone would be focused on their own hand for a while, taking notes and whatnot. Since our seats were right next to each other, we'd reveal our hands to each other. If we did it under the desk, then nobody would know. We'd begin the game with twice as much information as everyone else. Having this much information would mean we'd need to investigate less.
この作戦なら他の連中よりも確実なリードを持って開始できる。
With this sort of plan of attack, we'll start off with a big lead over the other guys.
これなら今度こそ勝てそうだよ。
Yeah, with this we can probably win. We both smirked at each other. If I was the shady businessman, then Rena was the corrupt senator. Pleasure doing business with you.
じゃあ早速戻ろうよ。二人で組んでみんなをあっと言わせちゃおう。
Then let's hurry back. We'll work as a duo and surprise everyone.
おいおい、二人で一緒に戻っちゃ意味ないだろう。いかにも打ち合わせしてきましたって感じだぞ。
Hey now, there's no point we go back together. It'd be like flat out telling them we made a little arrangement.
あ、ごめん。じゃあどうしよう。
Sorry. Then what should we do?
レナは先に戻れ。俺は洗面所で顔でも洗ってのんびりしてから戻る。
Go back ahead of me, Rena. I'll take my time coming back after washing my face or something.
わかったね。
Got it. Rena turned around and headed back to the classroom. I guess I should wait a bit longer before going back. If I went too soon, it wouldn't seem like I went to the bathroom. If Mion or one of them suspected something, then there could be problems. Well, they'd figure it out sooner or later, because both Ren and I would start winning over and over again. Both Ren and I will have earned enough points to avoid being the losers by the time Mion realized what was happening. Excellent. Not bad at all.
前原くん、ちょっといいですか？
Mayabara-kun, may I have a moment? Huh? It's the teacher. Man, things were just getting good.
何ですか？今ちょっと大事な。
What is it? I'm a bit...
前原くんにお客さんがいらしてますよ。昇降口へ行ってください。
You have a guest. Please make your way to the entrance.
お客さん？俺別にお店なんか開いてないし。
A guest? It's not like I own a hotel.
待たせていますよ。早く行ってきなさい。
They've been waiting. Please hurry. Right before my big match was pretty bad timing to have a visitor, but the very fact that someone was here to see me was strange enough to pique my interest. I didn't want to waste any time, so I decided to take care of it quickly. The entryway was a heavy contrast from the hot sunlight and deep shadows. Waiting there, looking uncomfortably warm, was a middle-aged man, his tie sloppily loosened, and his jacket tucked underneath his arm. Yeah, that image doesn't look like a sloppily loosened tie, but I get it. Anyways, let's take a look at, since we have a new picture, let's take a look at the three different art styles. This, of course, is the console art style. That's the remake art style. And that's the original. You know, remake art style actually looks decent for him. He kind of looks like he could be, with this art style, he looks like he could be from an Ace Attorney.
前原さんですか？
Are you Mayabara-san?
前原圭一さん。
Keiichi Mayabara. There's no question that he wasn't a resident of Hinamizawa, and that this was without a doubt the first time he'd met me. Ever since I met Toмотake-san, it seemed like I was fated to meet middle-aged men.
そうですよ。どちら様ですか？
That's right. Who might you be?
私の車エアコンが効いてますから、そっちでお話しましょう。
I have the AC on in my car. Let's talk there.
ここ暑くありません？
It's a bit hot here, don't you think? The man, completely ignoring my question, pointed over to his car parked near the gate and began walking. You've got to be kidding me. I had no intention of going along with some geezer I didn't even know, and he was asking me to get in the car with him?
だって食いやしません。どうぞどうぞ。
I'm not going to bite. Come on now. He opened the back door of his car and called me over. I didn't like this old man, but I wanted to know what this was about. Even while knowing that conversations that start out like this have never led to anything good. The inside of his car was pretty cool. Cars with air conditioners were supposed to be a luxury. My dad didn't have one in his car, at least.
冷えすぎだったら言ってくださいよ。 私ガンガンに冷やしちゃうたちですから。
Please let me know if it's too cold for you, okay? I have a habit of cranking it all the way up.
で、俺に何の用ですか？
So, what business do you have with me? Out of spite, I decided to ignore his remark in the same way he did to me and start my own line of questioning. He pulled out a notepad from his pocket and took out a picture that was stuck between the pages. On it was the face of a pretty goofy-looking guy.
この男性のことでご存知のことがあったら教えてください。
If you know anything related to this individual, then please tell me. Who the heck is this? I doubt even his close friends would be able to recognize who he was from this expressionless picture that looked like it was taken at the DMV.
シャツにマジックで落書きがありましたね。前原さんをはじめクラスメート何人かの署名入りでした。
There were scribbles on his shirt done in permanent marker, starting with yours, Maibara-san, and quite a few of your classmates signed as well.
え？これ、富武さん？
Huh? This is Tomitake-san. There was no hint of his usual unreliable and easygoing personality in this photo. It was an expressionless, half-asleep face.
ではこちらの女性はわかりますか？
Then, do you know this woman? Even before seeing it, I had a good idea who it was.
名前は知りませんけど、ゆうべ富武さんと一緒にいた女の人です。
I don't remember her name, but she's some lady who was with Tomitake-san last night. I didn't know what her name was, but I did know that she was a resident of Hinamizawa.
この二人に最後に会ったのはいつですか？
When was the last time you saw these two?
綿流しのお祭りの晩、一緒に話をしました。二人とも仲良さそうでしたよ。
The night of the Watanagashi. We spoke. They seemed pretty close, I guess.
何か気になったこととかありませんか？何でも結構です。話してください。
Did anything bother you about them? Anything is fine. Go ahead and say it. Being asked for every little detail is very troubling, honestly. I had a pretty good idea of who this guy was by now.
富武さんたちに何かあったんですか？
Did something happen to them? There was no response to my inquiry. Thus, I replied to that silence in kind. I was pretty sure, no, certain, that this guy was a cop. Then why? Why was he asking about Tomitake-san? Did something happen to him? More importantly, why me? Shouldn't there have been plenty of other people who knew more about him than I did? The roar of the air conditioner felt unbearably loud. After a long pause, he finally spoke again.
前原さんはまだこちらに越されてきたばかりですよね。
Ads! Oh, we'll take a moment here. While the ads are rolling, let's see who his voice actor is. His name is Chafurin. Major roles: Grand Fisher from Bleach. The Crimson Codex in Fate Samurai Remnant. Saint Carlos in One Piece Film Red. He's the Duke in Resident Evil 8. Let's see what else we got here. Robot Wars. Spec in Baki. Juzo Magure, the main detective in Detective Conan. Oh, that's cool. Medius in Fire Emblem Heroes. Mito in SMT4 Apocalypse. Probably in a regular one as well. Heisenberg and Marchiares in Grand Blue Fantasy. Dr. Quada in Bravely Default. Wizen in Asura's Wrath. He voiced Yogi Bear in the 2011 CGI movie. Let's see here. Hitoshi Demagawa in Death Note. I think that's one of the investigation team. Yeah, Graham Fisher and just Bleach in general. Severus Snape in the Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban console game. Wow. Yeah, he's been around for a long time. Oh, and in the Chamber of Secrets as well. Nice. And in the Philosopher's Stone. Yeah, no, he's got a lot of roles. I don't recognize like some of these, of course. So of course I'm probably missing like what could be some major roles, but no, he's also got a lot of major, fairly big roles. The biggest one, of course, being Juzo Meguri in Detective Conan. Oh, he was in Gal Gaigar as ZX-07. King of Braves, Gal Gaigar. Couple characters in Slayer's Try. Mole Man in Divisions of Escaflowne. Maljora in the Dragon Ball Z movies, looks like. Cool. He voiced Garfield in the 1988 series Garfield and Friends. God, I like looking up things that voice actors have done.
ご存知ですかな?
You've moved here just recently. Isn't that right, Meibar-san? Are you aware, I wonder,
例の親代様の話は?
about the stories of Oyashiro-sama? My heart began to race. I'm pretty terrible at hiding things. It probably showed on my face.
全く知らない?知らないんなら結構なんですがね.
Not at all. If you don't, then that's fine.
まあ聞いたことくらいは富武さんに教えてもらったんですけど。
Well, I have heard of it. Toмотake-san actually told me.
どの辺までご存知ですか?
How much do you know about it? The dismemberment killing, the accidental death, the death by illness followed by suicide, and the lady who was beaten to death. The incidents that have always happened the day of the Watanagashi, ending in suspicious deaths. I didn't think Toмотake-san would have kept anything from me. I think that was everything. No, rather, I didn't want to think that there was anything more than that.
前原さんはそのタタリとかを信じていますか? 率直なところで結構です。
Meibar-san, do you believe in the curse? Feel free to speak openly about it.
信じてません。
I don't believe in it. My answer was instant. It wasn't so much I didn't believe in it as I was on the verge of believing. I wanted to clear away my own doubts. That was the more prominent feeling.
本当に? ならよかったです。やっぱり前原さんは都会育ちですね。
Really? Then that's great. Guess you really are one of those city-raised boys.
信じてなかったら何なんですか？俺仲間を待たせてるんであまり時間取れないんですけど。
So what if I don't believe? I have friends waiting, so could you get to the point?
その写真の男性は昨晩お亡くなりになりました。
The man in this picture is dead. My mind went blank. Huh? What happened to Toмотake-san?
よりにもよってね、つまり綿流しの当日、前原さんにはどういう意味があるのかわかりますよね。
It would seem he died last night. That was the night of the Watanagashi. Do you understand the implications behind that, Maebara-san?
意味って、意味なんか。
Implications? Not any for the cause of his death or the reasons behind it. The real problem was that he died on the day of the Watanagashi. Meaning, this year, the curse of Oyashiro-sama had once again.
富武二郎さんがお亡くなりになられたことはまだ内緒です。どうしてかはなんとなくお分かりになりますよね。
The death of Jiro Toмотake is still confidential. You can understand why that is, right? I didn't want to understand why.
教えてください。一体何があったんですか？
Please tell me what happened.
得意なんですよ。
It was rather peculiar.
ひなみ沢の方にはちょっと刺激の強い。
It might be a little too graphic for someone born and raised in Hinamizawa. That was a roundabout way of saying it, but it caused me to doubt whether or not I wanted to hear the rest. I would only regret forcing myself to learn of something I shouldn't. Or at least, that's how I figured I would feel if I'd listened to the rest.
第一発見は祭りの警備を終えて期間中のうちのワゴンでした。
One of our patrol cars discovered the body on the way back from the security detail to the festival.
時刻は24時5分前。
It was late, about 5 till midnight.
場所は町へ出る道路がちょうど舗装道路に変わるところありますよね。坂を下り切ったあたりにあそこの路肩でした。
The location was, you know where the road in the town becomes paved, right? Down past the slope. On the shoulder, around there. There were few street lights on that road. Its pitch black darkness was only broken by the lights of passing cars and the moon. It was a stroke of luck that Toмотake-san was spotted collapsed on the shoulder of the road. Toмотake-san was face down, covered in blood. Blood and muck covered the asphalt.
みんなはじめはひき逃げされたものだと思っていました。
We thought it was a hit and run at first.
ですが、意識を確かめるために近づいた警官はすぐに異常に気づきました。
But when the officer checked to see if he was still alive, he quickly noticed something abnormal.
喉がね、引
His
き裂かれていたんですよ。
his throat had been ripped open.
ナイフとか？
From a knife or something?
いえ、爪でした。
No. Nails. Nails? As in fingernails? You mean his neck was clawed through?
検視の結果、それも自分の爪でということが判明しました。
From the coroner's report, it was revealed that it was with his own nails.
え？それってどういうことですか？
Huh? What does that mean? Basically, it means it wasn't a murder. It was suicide. Toмотake-san, whatever was going through his mind, tore open his own throat. As hard as he could with his own nails. Tore through the skin until he started to bleed. And even then, Toмотake-san didn't stop. He continued clawing. With enough intensity that it could have peeled off his nails. Still clawing. Still clawing. Then, as his nails reached those vital arteries that you should never damage, he continued clawing. Blood splattered on the ground around him. As he bled, while gasping for breath, he collapsed. His body spasmed, and he died in agony.
薬物を疑いましたが、そういう類のものは検出できませんでした。
We thought drugs were to blame, but nothing of that nature was detected. But this... it was a suicide? I've never heard of such a thing. This unnatural way of dying. If this wasn't a mysterious death, then what was? The way he died. In these 5 years, his death most resembled that of a curse. As if to show both myself and Tomotage-san, who proclaimed that there was no such thing as a curse, that we were wrong.
他にもいくつか不審な点があります。
There were a few more suspicious details.
体内分泌物、発汗、脱毛等から富武さんはお亡くなりになる直前、極度の興奮状態だったようなのです。
From his body chemistry, perspiration, epilation, and so on, we concluded that he was in a state of hysteria right before his death. Well, that was a given. It's hard to believe someone could be in a sound state of mind while clawing out their own throat.
手の傷と付近に落ちていた角材が一致しました。周囲の木やガードレールに叩いた後、周囲に散乱する富武さんの血痕、つまりですね。
Wounds on his hands matched a discarded piece of lumber found nearby. There are traces of where he struck trees and guardrails with it. Tomotage-san's blood was found all over the place, meaning that while tearing at his own throat, he was swinging around a piece of lumber.
体からは本人によらない外傷がいくつか発見されました。富武さんは何者かに暴行を受けた可能性があるということです。外傷の部位から見て複数犯の可能性もあります。
There were external injuries, which were not self-inflicted, discovered on Tomotage-san. There's a high probability Tomotage-san was assaulted. The external injuries suggested there may have been multiple suspects. To summarize, Tomotage-san was surrounded and attacked. While wandering the night roads in a state of panic, after being cornered, he picked up a piece of lumber and tried to fight back. Somewhere in there, he began madly tearing at his own throat, clawing at it. Then, he died.
死亡推定時刻は21時から23時頃のようです。つまりお祭りで前原さんが富武さんとお話しして別れてからすぐの出来事なんですよ。
The presumed time of death was between 9 and 11 p.m., meaning it occurred right after he finished talking to Tomotage-san at the festival. Everyone signed Tomotage-san's shirt, then parted ways. Right after that, oh yeah, he should have been with a woman. What about her?
行方不明です。出勤もしていませんし、昨夜は自宅にも帰っていません。事件に巻き込まれた可能性が極めて高いようです。
She's missing. She hasn't showed up to work and she hasn't returned home either. There's a very high probability that she was involved in this incident. For a while, I could only gaze off into space. I never would have thought that something unfortunate happening to somebody close to me could affect me this deeply. The time I had spent with Tomotage-san was short. But we went to the same festival, spent time together, and took part in the same competition. He was one of us.
我々もあらゆる面から捜査を進めますが、村人たちはお社様のたたりの話になると、とにかく口が重くなる。
We've been continuing the investigation on various fronts, but when it comes to Oyashiro-sama's curse, the villagers here aren't very cooperative. That I knew well. I would have been none the wiser if not for Tomotage-san, the outsider, telling me.
だから俺なんですか？俺がひなみ沢の人間じゃないから。
So that's why you came to me? Because I'm not originally from Hinamizawa? I should have been angry that that was the reason he wanted to hear what happened from me.
このままでは、富武二郎さんはお社様のたたりで死んだことになってしまいます。
If things go the way they have been, then the conclusion would be that Jiro Tomotage died from Oyashiro-sama's curse. He turned away from me and gazed far off into the distance.
綿流しの晩、神聖な儀式の時、無神経にカメラをバシャバシャやってたものだから、お社様の怒りに触れた。
The night
そういう話になってしまうんですよ。
The night of the Watanagashi. During the sacred ritual, he callously snapped off photos, angering Oyashiro-sama. That's how it's going to turn out.
富武さんにお社様の罰が当たるわけがない。
There's no way Oyashiro-sama would inflict divine punishment on Tomotage-san. Tomotage-san had to have been killed by humans, in a cowardly group no less. There's no way I'm going to let this end up being the fault of some curse.
私もそう思います。罰もたたりもあるわけがない。
I think so as well. There's no such thing as divine punishment or curses. The tense mood was cut with the man's hearty laugh.
つまり、そういうことですよ。前
That's,
原さん。たたりを信じていないひなみ沢の方の協力が不可欠なのです。わかりますね。
that's how it must be, Maibara-san. Cooperation from individuals in Hinamizawa who don't believe in the curse is indispensable. Understand? Neither Tomitake-san nor I believed in curses. But with the way things are going, it would just end up with Tomitake-san's death marking the 5th year, which would mean that Hinamizawa had rejected Tomitake-san. That was something I couldn't allow. Tomitake-san was one of us. He didn't live in Hinamizawa, but he came every single year. In a sense, he was more of a resident than I was. There's no way Tomitake-san could have been cursed by Oishiro-sama.
でも俺に協力できることなんか何もないですよ。あの晩のことは何も知らないし。
But there's nothing I can do to help. I have no idea what happened that night either.
いえいえ、何か気になるものを見たり聞いたりしたら教えてくださればいいんです。
No, if you see or hear something that draws your attention, then that is enough. If I see or hear, he was talking in the future tense.
物でも人でも噂でも何でも結構です。不確かなもので構いませんから。これ、私の電話番号です。不在でしたら出たものに伝言してくだされば結構です。
Things or people or rumors. Anything is fine. I don't care if they're unfounded. Here, this is my number. If I'm not there, then just leave a message with whoever picks up. He handed me a piece of paper with his number on it, but I hesitated for a second. If I took it, then whether or not I wanted to or not, I'd be mired knee-deep in this matter.
富武さんの無念を晴らすためにどうかご協力をお願いしたいのです。
Please help me solve these questions surrounding Tomitake-san's unfortunate death. That's right. Why was I hesitating? I needed to find the murderer who killed my friend. I snatched up the piece of paper as a satisfied grin spread across his face.
今日ここでした話はすべて内緒です。絶対に他言無用でお願いします。
Everything we spoke of today is a secret. Please keep this confidential.
わかりました。
Understood.
お友達にも内緒です。特に園崎さんや古出さんには絶対に知られないようにしてください。
From your friends as well, especially from Sonozaki-san and Furude-san. Please do not inform them.
園崎ってミオンのことか？なんでだよ。事件に関係あるっていうのかよ。
Sonozaki? You mean Neon? Why? Are you saying they have something to do with the incident? With my friends' names being brought up so abruptly and being told to keep it secret from them, I became rather angry.
捜査上の都合ということなんです。
This is what they call investigative privilege, I suppose.
煙に巻くなよ。ミオンは俺の大切な仲間だぞ。
Don't play games with me. Mion is a close friend of mine. I snapped at him, but he didn't seem to especially be offended.
言ってもいいですが、気を悪くしないでくださいね。
I wouldn't mind telling you, but it may just upset you.
言えよ。
Say it! He hesitated a little. Turning his gaze to the outside of the car, he began to speak after thinking for a bit.
ひなみ沢で起こった一連の事件は、村ぐるみで引き起こされている可能性があるのです。
There's a possibility that the string of incidents happening here in Hinamizawa are a result of village conspiracy.
そんなことあるわけないじゃないか。
There's no way that could be right. Give me a break. First of all, is there any proof of that?
証拠はありません。しかも過去の事件はここに解決し、いずれの犯人も村とは直接関係ありませんでしたしね。
No evidence. Also, each of the cases were resolved and none of the perpetrators had any direct connection to the village.
さあどう考えたらそんな考えに至るんだよ。
Then how did you come to that conclusion?
毎年渡流しの日に村の旧敵が死ぬ。それだけで十分に疑えると思いませんか？
Every year, the enemies of the village die on the day of the Watanagashi. Don't you think that's enough reason to suspect something? Only the residents of Hinamizawa felt that the day of the Watanagashi was sacred. So basically, because incidents happened on that day, it was somehow related to Hinamizawa?
はじめはダム工事の監督、そして次にダムを誘致した村人。村の旧敵は次々に開始しました。
First it was the dam construction foreman. Then it was a villager that supported it. Those the village hold a grudge against die one after another from mysterious
過
causes.
程はともかく結果はそうなのです。
The means are different, but in the end, the result is the same. Unfounded, unreasonable suspicion. But it couldn't just be shrugged off.
じゃあ次に死んだ神主やその次に死んだ主婦はどうです？別に村の敵だったわけじゃない。
So, the victims after that. What about the Shinto priest and his wife's death? They weren't enemies of the village.
神主はダム騒動当時リーダーシップを期待されながらも積極的な働きがなかったため、一部の村人から失望、反感を買っていました。
The villagers had expected leadership from the Shinto priest at the time of the dam dispute, but he wasn't proactive, so there was a faction of villagers who harbored ill will towards him as a result.
反感があったにしたって別に村に害を与えたわけじゃないだろう。
Ill will? It's not like he did anything bad to the village.
その次の主婦なんかどうだよ。誘致した男の弟夫婦だったってだけの理由だろう。もっと殺される理由が薄いじゃないか。
What about that housewife after that? Did she die just because she was the wife of that brother of a supporter? That's such a trivial reason to kill
そ
someone.
して富武さんに至ってはどうだよ。ダム工事とは関係すらないじゃないか。ただよそ者だってだけの理由だぞ。
And what about Toмотake-san? He's not affiliated with the dam project at all. Was he killed just because he was an outsider? In the beginning, it fell on those related to the dam project. But as the years went on, the enemy threshold of the victims had become much lower.
それがね、怖い。徐々に希薄になっていくのが。
Well, that's the scary part. The bar keeps getting lower.
何がだよ。
What's scary about
つま
that?
り村の敵でなく、よそ者だというだけの理由で犠牲になりつつあるんですよ。
It means it's not just enemies of the village anymore. Just being an outsider could be reason enough.
じゃあ来年の被害者は村のよそ者から選ばれるっていうのか。
Then you're saying that next year's victim will be picked out of the village outsider pool?
あるいは引っ越してきたばかりの人かもしれません。
Well, it might be a person that just moved here.
それってどういう。
What do you mean by... I swallowed my words. Here in Hinamizawa, the ones who would be considered the most outside would be my family. I was proof enough of that, wasn't I? I still couldn't really remember the names of people I passed by. Then the next victims, my family, was he saying it was going to be me?
でもそれとミオンとどう関係があるんだよ。
But what does that have to do with Mion?
詳しくは申し上げられませんが、園崎さん一家はそれも過激なね。
I can't go into details, but the Sonozaki family led the dam protests, quite fervently so.
例えば園崎美音さんについても同様です。抵抗運動時、いくつかの軽犯罪と公務執行妨害で補導歴があります。
This is also true of Mion Sonozaki-san herself. She has quite a few misdemeanor and obstruction of public work offenses on her record because of the protests. I knew Mion had fought. This was the first I'd heard of her family leading the protests, though. Then, well, what did it all mean?
ミオンの一家が一連の事件に関係しているとでも言うのかよ。
Are you saying that Mion's family is involved with this string of incidents?
そうまでは言いません。もしもそうだったら、一番確率が高い。それだけのことなんです。
I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying that if it was a conspiracy, then they'd have the highest probability of being behind it. Not a very clear explanation. It felt like he'd magnificently avoided the details I'd really wanted to know.
誰が一体どれだけ関わっているのか全くわかりません。だからこそ村人に口外してほしくないのです。
We don't know who or how involved anyone in the villages right now. That's exactly why I don't want you to say anything to the villagers. Instead of answering, I gave a very bitter expression. It seemed that he understood it well enough.
じゃあこう考えましょう。たたりを盲信する村人の皆さんに心配させたくないから内緒。そういうことでどうです？
Then think of it like this. I don't want to worry the villagers who blindly believe in the curse. How about that? What do you mean, how about that? How should I know? but the reasoning behind wanting me to not clearly open my mouth about it wasn't too hard to comprehend. The perpetrator was here. It had nothing to do with a curse. He was definitely going to be caught by the police and made to pay for his crimes, and none of the villagers should have anything to do with that process. It may cause those sensitive about the curse to just worry needlessly.
みんなが俺に心配させないために内緒にしてくれたように、今度は俺がみんなに心配させないために内緒にする番ってことなのか?
Just like everyone kept it from me so I wouldn't have to worry about it. Is it now my turn to keep it from them so they don't have to worry? I was just talking to myself. Unlike me, everyone else had been worrying over these mysterious incidents yearly, and the incidents this time probably means a lot more to them. I didn't want to burden them anymore. In the end, everything went as the man had wanted, as insipid as it was. But it couldn't be helped.
わかりました。俺だけの秘密にします。それでいいですよね。名前。
I understand. I'll keep it to myself. Is that fine? Mr.
沖宮署の大石です。
Oishi from the Okinomiya police station.
なんならクラちゃんでもいいですよ。
You can call me Kura-chan if you want.
いや、大石さんでいいです。
No, Oishi-san is fine. The way he said it was unpleasant, yet retained hints of politeness. He was the spitting image of a vulgar police officer. Though I'd never seen one this bulky before in the cop shows I watch.
時間を取らせすぎました。お友達を待たせていますよね。もう戻った方がいいでしょう。
I've taken up too much of your time. Your friends are waiting, aren't they? I should probably let you get back to them. The door opened with a click, and in steamed the oppressive heat. It was blistering outside of the car. Was it really this hot of a day? It was almost a cruel heat, as opposed to mechanical coolness inside the car. It was as if the land of Hinamizawa itself suddenly hated me. I felt a little sad as that thought crossed my mind.
お友達を疑えと言ったわけではありませんからね。誤解しないでくださいよ。
I didn't mean to suspect your friends. Please don't misunderstand that. I refrained from telling him that it was too late to say something like that self-serving.
前原さんが何も見つけず、聞きもしなかったとしても、それで十分なんです。それは村が関わっていないという証拠になるのですから。
It's fine if you don't see or hear anything, Mayabara-san. It would help to prove that the village is not involved after all.
見たり聞いたりしたら連絡しますけど、俺は探偵じゃないですからね。変な期待しないでくださいよ。
I'll contact you if I hear or see anything, but I'm no detective. Please don't expect too much from me.
しませんしません。
I
探
won't.
偵になんかならなくていいですよ。
You don't have to become a detective.
今までのように自然に生活してください。
Just go on living as you have up till now.
その中で見聞きしたことを教えてくだされば結構なんです。
Just let me know if you notice anything. I hastily made my way back to the school building after giving him a quick bow.
またお会いしましょう。さようなら前原君。
See you later. Farewell, Mayabara-kun. I returned to the school building without looking back. I don't know how much time had passed. I did feel bad for keeping them waiting, but right now there was a lot on my mind. Tomitake-san's death was hard enough as it was, but to think that there was the possibility of a village conspiracy. Worse still, there was also a chance that Mion was involved? Nonsense. Impossible. Not Mion, Rena, Satoko, or Rika-chan. It was a group that attacked Tomitake-san? Who could the perpetrators be? Could it be they were hiding here, somewhere in Hinamizawa? I didn't know. All I could say for certain was that I knew that Mion couldn't be the perpetrator.
みーちゃんだよ。
It's Mi-chan,
犯人は
the perpetrator. Huh? I was startled to hear Rena's voice.
凶器はロープで、犯行現場はラウンジ。
With the rope in the, lounge.
外れ。
Nope. No. Rena clutched her head while flailing about. Looks like you just self-destructed over here. Wow.
圭一さん遅かったですわね。プンプンでございますのことよ。
Keiichi-san, you're quite late. As you may well know, I'm seething with anger.
ごめんごめん。ちょっと先生に職員室呼ばれてさ。
Sorry about that. I was called to the staff room, you see.
素行が悪くて怒られましたですか？かわいそうかわいそうです。
You were reprimanded for bad behavior? That's a shame.
こっちも白熱してたしね。もういい時間だから次で最後のゲームにしよう。
Well, it's been pretty heated over here. Since it's getting pretty late, let's make the next game the last one.
俺の今の持ち点って確か0点だろ。
If I remember right, I had 0 points.
ビリ確定じゃないのかよ。
Isn't it pretty much decided I'm going to be finishing last place?
大丈夫だよケイチくん。レナマイナス1点。
Don't worry, Keiichi-kun. I'm at -1 points. Oh. The heck? Her score is lower than mine and I wasn't even playing.
罰ゲームはレナが1人でかケイちゃんと2人でかを決める最終戦。
This is the final match to decide if the penalty game is going to be carried out by Rena alone or by both Kei-chan and Rena.
冗談じゃねえぞ。罰ゲームはレナ一人でやってくれ。
Yeah, right? Just let Rena do the penalty by herself.
ケイチくんと2人で勝とうって約束したのにずっと待ってたんだよ。
We made a promise, Keiichi-kun, that we'd both win. I waited all this time, you know?
そりゃ俺が悪いな。
Sorry about that. I followed my initial plan of showing Rena my cards, but I didn't say who was the criminal and just waited for her to call.
わかったよ。犯人は私。凶器は毒物で犯行現場はどうかな。
I got it! The murderer is me, with the poison at the entrance. Is it?
おおレナ回答早いじゃん。また当てずっぽいじゃないの。
My, Rena. Quite a quick answer? Another stab in the dark? Oh,
レナの正解ですよ。
Rena's correct. Oh, okay,
じゃあこれでケイチさんも罰ゲーム決定ですわね。
oh, ho, ho, ho. Then it's decided that Keiichi-san, she'll take part in the penalty as well.
やったー。ケイチくん一緒に頑張ろうね。
Hooray! Keiichi-kun, let's do our best.
一緒に頑張ろうな。
Yeah, let's do our best. It's my fault, so I have no choice.
ではゲームセット。トップは私園崎美音。ビリは前原圭一と龍宮レナ。
Then that's the game. It's me, Mion Sonozaki, ranked first, and dead last are Keiji Maebara and Rena Ryugu. Everyone applauded at the game ended. The problem now was the penalty.
じゃあ使いっ走りの系の買ってくるものはトップの私が決めようかね。
Now then, I'm ranked first, so I'll decide what you'll be buying for the gopher penalty.
何を買いに行かされるんだろう。太郎。
Well, what will she make us buy, I wonder?
薬局は禁じ手にしような。どうしたろう。
Let's blacklist the drugstore. That was your aim, wasn't it?
は？薬屋なんかに用ないよ。おじさんが買ってほしいものはね、このメモに書いてあるから。
Huh? I don't have any business at the drugstore. This old man's already got a list prepared for you on this piece of paper.
いっぱい書いてあるよ。
What? There's a lot written here. A lot? Damn it, what is she making us buy?
豆腐2丁、シャンプーとリンス、みりんに油揚げ。なんだこりゃ。
2 blocks of tofu, shampoo and conditioner, apple vinegar and fried tofu. The heck is this?
罰ゲームってよりお買い物に見えるでございますわね。
It looks more like a shopping list than a penalty.
今日のミーは勝つ気満々でしたです。
Me was certain she was gonna win today.
快速第7条。罰ゲームの内容に逆らわない。はい、お金。シャンプーはうち果物物語だからね。よろしく。
Rule 7 of our society. You cannot refuse any penalty. Here's some money. The shampoo I usually get is Fruit Fable. Thanks.
これお前が頼まれたお使いだろう。
This is just your grocery list. I promised myself that if I won next time, I'd make her go buy hemorrhoid cream. And that, right there, is where we're calling it for tonight. It's not the end of the chapter, is it? Oh, it is. Okay, let's do these tips really quick, and then we'll call it. There are more than 4 perpetrators? Hypovolemic shock induced by clawing out their own throats. Tissue is packed under the nails, not someone else's nails. It's undoubtedly by the individual's own nails. The shape of the scars also matches. Yeah, I know the immediate cause of death was suicide. I get it. You're saying that the cause of death is unnatural, right? It's not quite on the same level as when your back itches, you scratch a little too hard and draw blood, after all. Some of Tomotake's fingernails had been pulled out. Fingernails actually rip off surprisingly easily, but it really hurts. Under normal circumstances, the pain would prevent you from completely pulling them out. Also, there were a lot of bruises on Tomotake's body. It's clear from the shape of them that he was assaulted first by someone, or a group of people. According to the toxology report, the deceased was in an extreme state of hysteria right before death. Then he fought back and clawed out his own throat because of how hysterical he'd become. The guys attacking him certainly would have been surprised by that. It is possible that, in such an abnormal environment, a person could perform acts that the sane individual couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, those are very rare cases. Actually, Oishi-kun, the wood plank that the deceased used as a weapon, they only found sand and the paint from the guardrail on it. What about cloth fibers or skin? Nothing. The deceased didn't strike the assailants. Or it could be that they took the plank he was fighting back with. In that case, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to replace it with another. They'd take them all. That's true. Tomotake's pretty built tanned. He was quite athletic. Sportsman. That's right. He was pretty active. I can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would be on the higher side. Meaning he would be difficult to overpower in a brawl. If a man with such physique sensed he was in danger and swung the plank around frantically, it's just unthinkable that it wouldn't even nick the perpetrator. His opponent was unarmed. The guy had a wood plank, so you'd think he'd hit them at least once. To surround and take down some of his physique, I wonder how many people it would take. You dimwit. If anything, that's your specialty. Have you forgotten your bad cop days? If I were to take down this guy, how many would I need? When a group wants to take down big prey, it's fundamental to attack with numbers. I'd guess about 4. Even if there was a gap in their strength, they'd manage. Well, then there was quite a few perpetrators.
4人以上のグループが怪しいとなるかの。
So any drunk and disorderly groups of more than 4 are suspicious? A group of 4 or more. Just, if they had that many, then couldn't they have hidden the body in a less obvious location? Or did he somehow break away from that fatal predicament? Then there would be no reason to commit suicide. Moreover, I still can't comprehend the irregular way he died. It's full of
こっ
mysteries.
ちもそこは重視しとる。徹底的に調べるつもりだが、あまり期待できんな。
That's under serious consideration on my end as well. I'll be examining it as thoroughly as possible, but don't get your hopes up.
何しろ、過去にこんな例はないんだからな。
After all, we've never encountered a death like this before.
期待はしませんよ。ですが結果を楽しみにしてます。
I'm not hoping for much, but I am looking forward to the results.
おいさん、課長が呼んでるっす。
Oishi-san, the chief is calling for you.
すみません。ではまた来年お会いしましょう。
Thanks. See you around.
おお、いいお年をの。
Yeah, best wishes. Okay. One more search notice. Jiro Tomitake, deceased. Resided at a cheap hotel in Shishibone City. Registered under the name Jiro Tomitake. Pen name? Travels via folding bike. No license. The bicycle was found 300 meters away, abandoned at the side of a forest path. Present on the day of the festival. Accompanied by the missing Mio Takano. Was seen around 9 p.m. by police. Locations afterwards unknown. Held residence in Hinamizawa for 1 week each season for the last 5 to 6 years. Freelance photographer specializing in wild birds. Check with magazine companies. Nothing suspicious in the film located among the articles of the deceased. Wallet was among the articles of the deceased. Near act of violence? From the contents of his wallet, he spent most of his time around Tokyo and Chiba. Along the Sobu National Railway line? No individual matching the name Jiro Tomitake is in the residency records of any of the Tokyo wards. Compare teeth and to dental records. Send to Metro Police. Attach a photo. Send to Metro Police. Contact magazines regarding Jiro Tomitake. Mio Takano, missing. Nurse at Irie Clinic. Became close to Tomitake through her passion with wild bird photography. Resides in Okinomiya X District X. Single. Witnessed accompanying Tomitake on the festival grounds. Currently missing. Abducted? Or maybe a suspect. An important person of interest. Had no motive to kill the deceased. Squabble from jealousy? Need to thoroughly investigate their relationship. Place of work, etc. Need to get information from the police on the scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo ones. Oishi. And that is where we shall end it. So, with all that said, I'm just going to continue here to... We'll see this again next time, because I want to pull up the menu. I'm curious on something. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Go in settings. Because this mentioned somewhere. F10, that's what I was looking for. Nope, that's not it. Highest chapter I've gotten to is 8. So we're almost to where I read this, I was reading quite a while ago, so. But yes, thank you so much for watching. Again, this is fiction. Please take it as such. Some graphic details of what's going on in the story is coming up now. Expect to run into more of these types of things as we continue on the story, so be aware of that. But the mystery continues. We now have our newest victim of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. What will come of it? Well, we'll find out eventually. I will probably pick up reading Higurashi again on Monday. Tomorrow should be a Pathfinder day. Saturday, I believe, is when Nightmare will be over to play some games. And then Sunday will be open, but that will probably no D&D, so that will probably be Atelier. Bring this back on Monday. So, with all that said, like, subscribe, follow, donate, all that fun stuff. Donation, of course, is just appreciated. It's not necessary. So, have a good night. Just don't let any of the graphic descriptions bother you. Just shake them off. And as always, don't get too salty.